A rainy afternoon. The bus stop stood empty. A young girl sat in her wheelchair, head bowed low, a raincoat draped halfway across her trembling shoulders. People walked past, every single one, eyes forward, steps quick. Then one man stopped. He took off his own soaked jacket and gently placed it over her. "You waiting for someone?" She shook her head, tears pooling in her eyes. "They left me here, said they'd come back." He sat down beside her, his voice soft but steady. "Then until they do, I'll wait with you." Those simple words, that one moment, it changed her life forever. Type hope. If you believe kindness can rewrite someone's whole story. Jack Rowan was 38 years old, a mechanic, a single dad, and a man who'd learned long ago that life doesn't wait for you to be ready. He wiped the grease from his hands as he locked up the shop. Another long day, another evening rush to pick up his daughter from school. Lila was 9, bright eyes, big heart, too big sometimes. She'd asked him just that morning, "Daddy, why do you always stop for strangers?" He'd smiled. "Because someone once stopped for me, sweetheart." Now driving through the suburban streets, rain drumming against the windshield, Jack noticed something that made him slow down. A figure, small, alone, sitting at the bus stop. Most people would have kept driving. It was late. It was raining. Not their problem, but Jack wasn't most people. He pulled over, got out. Rain soaked through his shirt immediately. That's when he saw her clearly. A girl, maybe 17, sitting in a wheelchair, her raincoat only half on, like someone had left in a hurry. Her head was down, shoulders shaking. "Hey," he called gently. "You okay?" She looked up. Her eyes were red, exhausted, scared. "I'm fine," she whispered, but her voice cracked. Jack glanced around. No cars, no people, no one coming for her. "Where's your ride?" She hesitated, then so quietly he almost missed it. "They said they'd come back." Something in those words hit him hard, the way she said them, like she'd been repeating them to herself for hours, like she didn't believe them anymore. Jack pulled off his jacket. It was already soaked, but it was better than nothing. He draped it over her shoulders. "You waiting for someone?" he asked again, softer this time. She nodded, then shook her head, then started crying. "They left me here. My stepmom. She said I slow everyone down. She said she'd be back after her appointment, but..." Her voice broke. "It's been 4 hours." Jack felt something twist in his chest. Anger, sadness, and something else. Recognition. He knew what it felt like to be left behind. He sat down on the wet bench beside her. Didn't say anything for a moment, just sat there, waiting with her. Finally, she spoke. "You don't have to stay." "I know," Jack said simply, "but until someone comes for you, I'm not leaving you here alone." She looked at him, really looked at him, like she was trying to figure out if he meant it. He did. 20 minutes passed, no one came. Jack made a decision. "What's your name?" "Emma." "Emma, I'm Jack, and I think we should get you somewhere warm. Maybe call someone. Make sure you're safe." She hesitated. Fear flickered across her face. "I'm not sending you back to anyone who left you in the rain," Jack added quickly. "I promise. But you can't stay here." Something in his voice must have convinced her. She nodded. Jack carefully helped her into his truck, folded the wheelchair, placed it gently in the back. As they drove toward the community hospital, Emma stared out the window. Silent, but for the first time in hours, she wasn't alone. Jack pulled out his phone at a red light, texted his neighbor. "Can you grab Lila from school? Emergency. Explain later." He looked at Emma in the rearview mirror. She was clutching his jacket like a lifeline, and in that moment, Jack knew. This wasn't just a ride to the hospital. This was the beginning of something that would change both their lives. In the glove compartment, barely visible, was a faded yellow umbrella, a small symbol, a quiet promise. Hope Shelter. Where are you watching from? Subscribe so you don't miss what happens next. The hospital waiting room smelled like disinfectant and bad coffee. Jack sat beside Emma while a nurse checked her vitals, asked questions. Took notes? Any family we should call? The nurse asked, looking at Jack. I'm not, Jack started, then stopped. Looked at Emma. Emma stared at her hands. Silent. Jack spoke carefully. Is there anyone looking for her? Any missing person reports? The nurse checked her computer. Frowned. No record, no calls, nothing. Emma's shoulders tensed. She knew what came next. They'd call social services, send her back to the people who left her in the rain. Jack saw the panic in her eyes. Can I talk to her? Alone? Just for a minute? The nurse hesitated, then nodded. I'll be right outside. When they were alone, Emma finally spoke. Her voice was small, broken. Please don't send me back. Please. They said I slow everyone down, that I'm too much work, that I should be grateful they kept me this long. Jack felt his jaw tighten. He'd seen this before, heard these words before, from someone he loved a long time ago. Emma, he said quietly, how long have they been saying that? She looked up, tears streaming down her face. Since the accident, 2 years ago, my mom died. My dad remarried. His new wife, she tries. But I can see it. I'm a burden. Jack moved closer. Not too close, just enough so she could hear him clearly. You're not a burden, you hear me? You're 17 years old, you're a kid, and kids don't get left at bus stops. Emma sobbed, hard, the kind of crying that comes from months of holding everything in. Jack let her, didn't try to fix it, just sat there, present. When she finally caught her breath, she whispered, what happens now? Jack made a decision. Maybe not the smartest one, maybe not the legal one, but the right one. You can stay with me and my daughter, just for tonight, until we figure this out properly, until someone deserves you better. Emma stared at him. You don't even know me. I know enough, Jack said simply. An hour later, they pulled up to Jack's house. Small, modest, but warm. Lila was waiting at the window. She'd been told by the neighbor that Dad had an emergency. When she saw the wheelchair, her eyes went wide. Jack carefully helped Emma inside. Lila rushed over immediately. Hi, I'm Lila. Are you okay? Do you need anything? Are you hungry? Dad makes really good grilled cheese. Emma couldn't help it. She smiled. Just a little. I'm Emma, she said softly. That's a pretty name, Lila beamed. Then without hesitation, you can sleep in my room. I have extra pillows. Jack watched his daughter, so open, so trusting, so kind. This is why he did what he did, so she'd grow up knowing kindness wasn't weakness. Dinner was simple, grilled cheese, tomato soup, nothing fancy, but Emma ate like she hadn't had a real meal in days. Lila talked nonstop, about school, about her favorite books, about how her dad once fixed a bike for a kid whose parents couldn't afford it. Dad says helping people isn't about what you get back, Lila explained seriously. It's about what you give forward. Emma looked at Jack. He shrugged, slightly embarrassed. My wife used to say that, he admitted quietly. Where is she? Emma asked, then immediately regretted it. Sorry, I shouldn't have. It's okay, Jack said. She passed away 3 years ago. Car accident. The room went quiet. Emma's voice was barely a whisper. I'm sorry. Jack nodded. Me too. But she taught me something before she left. She taught me that the world doesn't owe you kindness. You have to create it yourself. Lila reached across the table, took the last piece of her grilled cheese, put it on Emma's plate. You can have mine, she said simply. You look like you need it more. Emma stared at the bread. Such a small gesture, but it broke something inside her. She started crying. Again, but this time it was different. This time, someone cared. Later that night, Emma sat in Lila's room. Lila had insisted on giving her the bed. I'll take the sleeping bag, it's like camping. As Lila drifted off to sleep, Emma stared at the glow-in-the-dark stars on the ceiling. Jack knocked softly on the doorframe. You doing okay? Emma nodded, then shook her head, then finally spoke. Why are you helping me? Jack leaned against the doorway, thought for a long moment. 6 years ago, my wife got sick, really sick. We didn't have much money, couldn't afford the treatments. One day a stranger walked into the hospital, paid for everything, never gave their name, just said, "Someone did this for me once. Now it's my turn." He paused. My wife lived another 3 years because of that stranger. And before she died, she made me promise something. "What?" Emma whispered. "To pass it forward, to be the stranger who stops, who helps, who stays." Emma felt fresh tears, fresh. But these were different. These were hopeful. "Your wife sounds amazing." Jack smiled sadly. "She was. And you know what? She used to work with kids like you. Physical therapy, rehab. She believed everyone deserved a second chance to stand." Emma looked at him, really looked at him. Do you think I'll ever walk again?" Jack walked over, sat on the edge of the sleeping bag where Lila was softly snoring. "I think," he said carefully, "that your heart already started walking the moment you decided to trust someone again." Emma smiled through her tears. For the first time in 2 years, she felt something she thought she'd lost forever. Hope. 3 weeks passed. Emma stayed, not officially, not legally, but she stayed. And slowly, something remarkable happened. She started smiling more, laughing at Lila's terrible jokes, helping Jack organize tools in the garage. She'd sit outside in the morning sun, reading books Lila brought from the library. She started doing exercises, moving her fingers, stretching her arms, trying. Jack watched quietly, never pushing, never expecting, just present. One afternoon, while Jack worked on a car engine, Emma wheeled into the garage. "Can I help?" Jack looked up, surprised. "You know cars? My dad used to fix them, before everything changed. Then grab that wrench. Let's see what you remember." They worked in comfortable silence, Emma handing him tools, asking questions, actually engaged. That's when she noticed it. A wooden box on the shelf, old, dusty, carved with initials. "What's that?" Jack followed her gaze. His expression shifted, softer, sadder. "My wife's things. I haven't opened it since she passed. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. It's okay." Jack wiped his hands on a rag, walked to the shelf, hesitated, then pulled the box down. He opened it slowly. Inside, photos, letters, a stethoscope, a name badge. Emma leaned forward, and then she froze. The name badge read, "Dr. Sarah Rowan, Pediatric Physical Therapy." The photo showed a woman in scrubs, smiling, surrounded by kids in wheelchairs. Emma's breath caught. She knew that face. "Your wife," Emma's voice shook. "What was her name?" "Sarah," Jack said quietly. "Dr. Sarah Rowan. She worked at St. Mary's Rehabilitation Center, specialized in helping kids with mobility challenges." Emma's hands trembled. "When?" she whispered. 12 years, until she died. 3 years ago." Emma felt the world tilt. 3 years ago. St. Mary's. Physical therapy. "Jack." Emma could barely speak. "What month did she die?" Jack looked at her confused. April 15th. "April. Why?" Emma started crying. Hard, shaking. "Emma, what's wrong?" She couldn't speak, could only point at the photo. Jack looked closer, really looked, and then he saw it. In the background, a young girl, maybe 14, brown hair, in a wheelchair, smiling up at Sarah. Jack's eyes widened. He looked at Emma, then back at the photo. That's you." Emma nodded, tears streaming down her face. "Your wife," she choked out. "Sarah. She was my physical therapist, right after my accident. She taught me how to use a wheelchair, how to dress myself, how to not give up." Jack sat down heavily on a workbench stool. "She worked with you?" "For 6 months, Emma said. "She was the only person who believed I could get better, who didn't treat me like I was broken. She told me that my body might be different now, but my spirit didn't have to be." Jack stared at the photo, at his wife, at this girl he'd found in the rain. "I remember the day she left," Emma continued. She said she was taking time off. Family emergency. She never came back. They said she'd been in an accident. Jack's voice was barely audible. She was driving to visit her sister. Drunk driver. Silence filled the garage. Two people, connected by someone who'd loved them both. Someone who'd taught them both to stand, even when the world knocked them down. I never forgot her, Emma whispered, even when everything got bad. Even when my dad remarried and his wife couldn't handle me. Even when I wanted to give up. I remembered what Sarah said. What did she say? Emma looked him in the eyes. She said, Emma, the world will try to tell you that you're less because you can't walk. But walking is just moving your legs. Living is moving your heart, and your heart is stronger than you know. Jack closed his eyes. That sounded exactly like Sarah. She saved me once, Emma said, and now it's like she sent you to do it again. Jack opened his eyes, looked at this girl, this connection to his wife he never knew existed. Maybe she did, he said softly. Emma wheeled closer. Jack, do you think I'll ever walk again? Really walk? Jack looked at her, thought about Sarah, about all the kids she'd helped, about the promise he'd made. He knelt down so he was eye level with Emma. I think Sarah never gave up on anyone, and neither will I. Emma grabbed his hand, held it tight. I'm scared, she admitted. Of what? That this is temporary, that I'll have to go back, that this kindness will run out. Jack squeezed her hand gently. Emma, look at me. You're not going anywhere. Not back to people who left you in the rain. Not back to people who made you feel like a burden. But Sarah taught me something before she died. She said, Jack, if you ever meet someone who needs saving, don't ask if you can afford to help. Ask if you can afford not to. I can't afford to let you go back to that. Emma broke down completely, sobbing. Jack pulled her into a hug, and for the first time since her mother died, Emma felt something she'd forgotten existed. Family, not the people you're related to, the people who choose you. That night, Lila came running into Emma's room. Emma! Emma! Look what I found! She held up an old journal, Sarah's journal. Dad said I could read it, and look at this page. Emma took the journal, read the entry dated 2 years ago. Today I met a girl named Emma. She's 14, just lost her mother. Her body's broken, but her spirit isn't. I see so much potential in her, so much strength. If I could make one wish, it would be that someone shows her the kindness she deserves, that someone reminds her she's worth fighting for. Emma looked up at Lila, then at Jack, who'd appeared in the doorway. She was writing about you, Jack said quietly, 2 years ago, like she knew, like she was asking me to find you. Emma held the journal to her chest. Do you think she's watching? Jack smiled, the first real smile Emma had seen from him. I think she's been watching this whole time, and I think she's proud of both of us. Emma nodded. Then let's make her proud. Really proud. How? Emma looked at her legs, then back at Jack. Teach me to stand again. 4 months passed. Emma grew stronger, not just physically, but emotionally, spiritually. She wasn't walking yet, but she was living. Jack converted the garage into a small therapy space, used Sarah's old notes, watched YouTube videos on physical therapy, helped Emma stretch, exercise, push her limits gently. Lila became Emma's cheerleader, making signs, timing her exercises, celebrating every tiny victory. The neighbors noticed, started helping, bringing meals, offering encouragement. The community wrapped around this little family. Then one Saturday morning, everything changed. A car pulled up, expensive, clean. Emma saw it from the window. Her face went pale. They're here, she whispered. Jack looked out, saw a man and woman getting out, well-dressed, stern expressions, Emma's father and his wife. Jack opened the door before they could knock. Can I help you? He asked, polite but firm. Emma's father spoke first. We're here for Emma. We've been looking for her. For 4 months? Jack replied calmly. Interesting. The stepmother stepped forward. Look, we don't know who you are, but Emma is a minor. She belongs with her family. Family? Jack's voice hardened. You left her at a bus stop, in the rain, for 4 hours. That was a misunderstanding, the father said quickly. We had an emergency. We came back and she was gone. You came back? Jack challenged. Funny, the hospital has no record of anyone looking for her. No missing person report, nothing. The stepmother's face flushed. We're here now. That's what matters. For our reputation. For... She stopped, but the damage was done. For your reputation, Jack repeated slowly. Not for her, for how it looks. Emma appeared in the doorway. Wheelchair. Calm. Stronger than they'd ever seen her. Emma, honey, her father started. We're here to take you home. Home? Emma's voice was steady, clear. That place was never home. Home isn't where people make you feel like a burden. Home is where they make you feel like family. The stepmother scoffed. Don't be dramatic. We fed you, sheltered you, gave you everything. Everything except love, Emma said quietly. The words hung in the air. Neighbors started gathering. They'd heard the commotion. Mr. Chen from next door, Mrs. Rodriguez with her twins, the Johnsons, all of them. They stood beside Jack, beside Emma, a wall of support. Jack stepped forward. Emma is 17. In a few months, she'll be 18. Until then, she's staying here, where people actually want her, where she's not a burden, where she's family. You have no legal right, the father began. And you have no moral right, Mrs. Rodriguez interrupted. We've all seen what real family looks like, and it's not you. Emma wheeled herself forward, looked at her father, at the woman who'd made her feel invisible. I'm not going back, she said firmly. Not now, not ever. You gave up on me. But Jack didn't. Lila didn't. This community didn't. Lila ran out, grabbed Emma's hand. She's my sister now. The stepmother looked around, at all the faces, at the community that had formed around this girl. She knew. They'd lost. Fine, she said coldly. Keep her. She was too much work anyway. Emma didn't flinch, didn't cry, just watched them walk away. Her father paused at the car, looked back. For a moment, Emma thought he might say something. Apologize, try. But he didn't. He got in, and they drove away. Emma exhaled, long, slow. Jack put his hand on her shoulder. You okay? She nodded. I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. The neighbors clapped, cheered, surrounded them with love. This was family, not blood, choice. 1 year later, spring morning, sunshine breaking through clouds. The community center had opened a new rehabilitation wing, funded by donations, named after Dr. Sarah Rowan. Emma had been training, working, pushing herself every single day. And today was the day. Jack stood behind her, hands ready, not holding, just there. Lila held her breath, phone recording. Emma gripped the parallel bars, took a breath. You've got this, Jack whispered. Sarah's watching. I'm watching. But most importantly, you're watching. Show yourself what you can do. Emma nodded. She pushed up, weight on her arms. Then slowly, carefully, 1 foot forward. Her leg shook, but it moved. Another step. Tears streaming down her face. But she didn't stop. 3 steps. 4. 5. The room erupted. Cheering, crying, celebrating. But Emma only heard one thing. Jack's voice. Steady, proud. That's it. Keep going. You're walking, Emma. You're walking. 6 steps, 7. Then she stopped. Then she looked back at Jack. I did it, she breathed. No, Jack said, his own eyes wet. You're doing it. Present tense. Because this is just the beginning. Emma laughed, cried, stood there on her own 2 feet. Lila ran forward, hugged her carefully. I knew it. I knew you could. Emma looked around the room. At the sign above the door, Sarah Rowan Rehabilitation Center. She'd be proud, Emma whispered. She is proud, Jack corrected. Wherever she is, she's proud of both of us. Emma looked at him. This man who'd stopped, who'd stayed, who'd chosen her when her own family wouldn't. Thank you, she said, for believing in me when I couldn't believe in myself. Jack shook his head. You had it in you the whole time. I just reminded you. Months later, Emma was walking regularly, short distances, with a cane, but walking. She'd started volunteering at the center, helping other kids, sharing her story, passing it forward. One evening, sitting on the porch, Lila asked, Emma, what do you think changed everything for you? Emma thought for a long moment, then smiled. One man stopping, one choice, one moment of kindness when I needed it most. She looked at Jack. Some people see strangers. Your dad saw someone worth saving, and that made all the difference. Jack pulled out something from his pocket, the old yellow umbrella, faded, worn, but still there. Sarah used to say, be the shelter when someone's caught in the storm. Emma took the umbrella, held it like a treasure. Then that's what I'll be, for someone else, someday. The three of them sat together, watching the sunset, a family forged not by blood, but by choice, by kindness, by love. And somewhere, maybe Sarah was watching, smiling, proud of the ripples she'd started, the lives she'd touched, the love she'd left behind. Subscribe if you believe one act of kindness can rebuild a whole life. Share this story with someone who needs to hear it today.